The alarm was loud and scary. It made everyone on Station Kepler 7 want to cover their ears. Jiwon ran as fast as she could down the metal hallway. She was the chief of security, which meant she had to protect everyone on the station. Other aliens ran past her, all of them looking very afraid. Jiwon pressed the button on her communication device. She needed to know what was happening. A voice came through, shaking with fear. It was Taemin, a young officer who worked with her. "The creature is in Cargo Bay 3, Taemin said. His voice was trembling. It escaped from the transport ship. Station Master Heben locked down that whole area. Nobody can go in or out." Jiwon felt worried. She had heard stories about a dangerous cargo ship that came to the station that morning. The ship was carrying strange and dangerous animals. One of them must have gotten loose. This was very bad news. When Jiwon reached Cargo Bay 3, many security officers were already there. They all stood far away from the door. They looked scared. Through the thick glass window, Jiwon could see inside. What she saw made her heart beat faster. The creature was huge. It stood as tall as 2 adult humans. Its body was covered in black scales that looked like they could stop bullets. It had 6 legs, and each leg ended in sharp claws. Those claws had already made deep cuts in the metal floor. The creature had 3 sets of red eyes that glowed in the dark. Sharp spikes ran down its back. Its tail had sharp points on it, and when the tail hit things, it left dents in the metal walls. "What is that thing?" Jiwon asked quietly. She had never seen anything like it before. Commander Minho stood next to her. He was from an alien race called the Zentari. His skin had turned a pale color, which meant he was very afraid. "That is a Vorthek," he said. "It comes from a very dangerous planet called Vreka Prime. These creatures are the most dangerous hunters on their world. It takes many soldiers with strong weapons to catch just one. This one killed 4 people on the transport ship before they trapped it in here." The creature turned its head and looked at everyone through the window. All 6 of its eyes stared at them. Then it made a terrible sound. It was part roar and part scream. The sound made everyone feel afraid deep inside. Some officers stepped backward. Their bodies told them to run away. "We need to stop it from getting out," Jiwon said. She tried to sound brave. "The doors will not hold forever. What can we do?" Minho looked at the creature and then back at Jiwon. "We can use deadly weapons," he said. "But our normal guns did not hurt it much. We would need very big weapons, and those might break holes in the station walls. That would be dangerous for everyone." "What about sleeping drugs?" Jiwon asked. "Can we make it fall asleep?" "We already tried that," Minho said. "We used enough sleeping gas to knock out a whole battleship. But this creature's body burns through it too fast. The drugs do not work." As if the creature heard them talking, it ran at the door. The metal door made a loud groaning sound. Warning lights started flashing. Computer systems began beeping danger alerts. "Close off this whole area," Jiwon ordered. "Move everyone to the inner ring. We will figure out what to do next." "Wait," someone said. "Let me try something." Jiwon turned around and saw a human walking toward them. He was young, maybe 25 years old. He wore the uniform of a cargo worker. His name tag said Junho. Jiwon remembered seeing him before. He had started working on the station a few months ago. "No way," Minho said quickly. His voice sounded shocked. "Human, I know your people are brave. Some say too brave, but this is suicide. That creature killed trained warriors. You will die." Junho shrugged his shoulders. He did not look scared at all. "I grew up with dogs on Earth," he said calmly. "Some of them were bad dogs. People said they were too dangerous and too mean. But I learned something important about them." "What did you learn? That humans want to die young?" Minho asked. He sounded angry now. "I learned that being afraid makes things worse," Junho said. "Every person who went near that creature was terrified. Animals can smell fear. When they smell fear, they get more aggressive. They attack because they feel threatened, but me? I am not scared of a big puppy." The creature hit the door again. This time a crack appeared in the thick glass window. The crack was small, but it was there. The door would not hold much longer. Jiwon looked at Junho carefully. She studied his face and his eyes. He was not showing off. He was not pretending to be brave.
He really meant what he said.
He looked calm and sure of himself. Jiwon had seen that look before on soldiers who had faced death many times. "If this does not work," Jiwon said slowly, "you will die. Do you understand that?" "I understand," Junho replied. "But it will work, trust me. I know what I am doing." Jiwon knew this was against all the rules. Every part of her training said this was wrong. But something told her to let him try. Okay, she said. But I am going with you. If that thing tries to attack, I will shoot it. That is fair, Junho said. He walked toward the door control panel. All the security officers raised their weapons. They pointed them at the door. The door began to open slowly. Through the opening, everyone could hear the creature roaring. It was a sound that promised death and violence. Junho smiled. Then he stepped through the door and walked into the cargo bay. Jiwon took a deep breath and followed him inside. The door closed behind them with a heavy sound. Now they were locked in with the most dangerous creature anyone had ever seen. Everyone outside held their breath and watched through the cracked window. They were sure they were about to watch two people die, but Junho did not look scared. He looked at the creature like it was just another animal, like it was not a monster at all, just a scared animal that needed help, and that, more than anything else, made everyone wonder if maybe, just maybe, this crazy human knew something they did not. The moment Junho walked into the cargo bay, he started thinking like he always did with dangerous animals. Behind him, he heard Jiwon take a quick breath. She was probably thinking this was a bad idea. He could not blame her. The creature looked even bigger and scarier up close. The creature's huge head turned toward them. Its lips pulled back to show many sharp teeth. Those teeth could cut through metal like paper. All 6 of its red eyes locked onto Junho. The air smelled bad like blood and fear. But Junho noticed something else too. The creature smelled stressed. It was afraid. Easy, Junho said softly. He was not talking to the creature. He was talking to Jiwon. Lower your gun a little bit. Not all the way. Just make yourself look smaller and less scary. Are you crazy? Jiwon whispered. But she did what he said. She bent her knees and made herself shorter. Maybe I am crazy, Junho said. But just watch what happens. Junho started to move, but he did not walk toward the creature. Instead, he moved to the side. He walked slowly and carefully. He did not move like someone who wanted to fight. He did not move like someone running away either. He just moved like he was sharing the same space, like the creature had a right to be there too. The creature watched him. Its claws scraped on the floor. It did not attack. Its sharp tail moved back and forth once, then twice, then stopped. Hunyo watched carefully. The creature was making aggressive movements, yes, but it was also hesitating. It was showing fear aggression, not hunting behavior. There was a big difference. Look at how it is standing, Junho said quietly. He still did not look directly at the creature. See how its weight is slightly back on its rear legs? That is defensive body language. It has been hurt. Probably when they captured it. It might have injuries we cannot see. It killed 4 people, Jiwon reminded him. Her voice was tight with tension. Those people probably used electric prods and nets on it, Junho said. That is trauma. The creature is reacting to being hurt. It is not hunting us for food. Junho slowly bent down and crouched. He made himself smaller. Hey there, friend, he said in a gentle voice. Nobody here will hurt you. I promise. The creature's growling got a little quieter. It was still threatening, but less violent. One of its middle eyes blinked. That was a good sign. Junho reached slowly into his pocket. Jiwon got ready to shoot, probably thinking he was getting a weapon. But instead, Junho pulled out a protein bar. It was the kind the station gave to workers. Basic food that almost anyone could eat. Junho, Jiwon said. It was a warning. Quiet, Junho whispered. He opened the protein bar and broke off a small piece. Then he tossed it gently to the side. He did not throw it at the creature. That would be challenging. He just offered it as a gift. The creature's nose moved as it sniffed the air. All 6 eyes watched the piece of food. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the creature lowered its head very carefully and smelled the protein bar. It was being surprisingly gentle for something so big. It is probably very hungry, Junho said. Transport ships keep animals drugged and barely feed them. It keeps them weak and easier to control. That is another layer of trauma. The creature's tongue came out. It was long and purple-black. It picked up the protein bar and ate it. The growling stopped completely. Good boy, Junho said softly. He broke off another piece. This time he threw it closer to himself. Or good girl. I cannot tell from here. Either way, you are doing great. The creature moved toward the food. It was not charging. It was just walking. Its huge body moved smoothly. All 6 legs worked together perfectly. It ate the second piece of protein bar. Junho held out another piece in his open hand. He did not reach forward. He just made it available. Junho, do not do that, Jiwan started to say. The creature's head came down lower. Yunyo could see his own face reflected in its black scales. He could smell its breath. It smelled like copper, and something else he could not identify. Those huge teeth were just inches away from his hand. One bite could take his whole arm off. The creature's tongue came out again. It was warm. It felt slightly rough. The tongue gently lifted the protein bar from Junho's palm. The creature was very careful not to touch his skin with its teeth. There we go, Junho said in a soft voice. See, you are not so scary after all. Through the glass window, all the security officers stood in complete shock. Their mouths hung open. Even Station Master Hyeben was pressing her face against the glass, unable to believe what she was seeing. Okay, Jiwan said. Her voice shook a little. You showed it you are not a threat. Now what do we do? Now comes the important part, Junho said. He slowly raised his hand toward the creature's head. The creature's eyes followed his hand. Its body got tense. Easy, friend, Junho said. I just want to check something. His fingers touched the scales just behind what looked like an ear. It was a small opening behind a bony ridge. He scratched gently. What happened next was amazing. The creature's eyes half closed. Its tail, which had been stiff with tension, started to sway gently from side to side. And from deep in its chest came a sound. It was not a growl. It was not a roar, it was a purr, a deep rumbling purr that made the whole cargo bay vibrate. Oh, my stars, Jiwan whispered. You are scratching its ears. You are giving ear scratches to the most dangerous creature in the galaxy. Technically, I am scratching behind the ears, Junho said with a big smile. That is the sweet spot. It works on almost every animal I have ever met. And look at this. He pointed at the creature with his free hand. The huge animal had folded its front legs and laid down on the floor. It tilted its head to give Junho better access to the spot behind its ear. This is not a terror creature, Junho said. This is just a very big, very stressed dog who needed someone to be kind to it. Outside the cargo bay, everyone was silent. Then Station Master Hyeben's voice came through the speaker system. I am watching a human give ear scratches to a galaxy-class threat. Someone please tell me I am dreaming. I am afraid not, ma'am, Taman replied. His voice was full of wonder. The human made it calm. The creature is falling asleep, I think. And it was true. The huge predator's breathing had become slow and even. Its eyes were fully closed now. The purr had gotten even deeper and more rhythmic. It was the sound of a happy, relaxed animal. Junho kept scratching, moving his hand in gentle circles. Good boy, he whispered. Very good boy. Nobody will hurt you anymore. I promise you that. Jiwan slowly put her gun away and walked closer. How did you know this would work? I did not know for sure, Junho admitted. But I figured something out. Every predator I have ever met has stress behaviors. When they are aggressive, it usually means they are afraid, and fear just needs patience and understanding. You humans, Jiwan said, shaking her head. You are all completely insane. Maybe, Junho agreed. He continued scratching the sleeping creature. But we humans turned wolves into dogs. We took the most dangerous predators and made them into friends and family. It is kind of what we do best. The creature, which everyone had called a monster, was now snoring softly. It sounded almost cute. News travels fast in space, but video travels even faster. Within 6 hours after Junho calmed the creature, the video had spread to every major planet in the sector. Everyone was watching it. It has gone viral, Taman said. His eyes were wide as he looked at the computer screens. 50 million views and the number keeps going up. The Huntmaster Guild is very angry. They are demanding answers. The Zentarii Defense Council wants to hire Junho as a weapon, and 3 entertainment companies want to make a documentary about this. Station Master Hyben rubbed her head. She looked tired and stressed. Of course they do. One human does something that trained scientists said was impossible. Now everyone wants a piece of him. In Cargo Bay 3, which was now being used as a temporary home for the creature, Junho sat on the floor with his new friend. The creature, which Junho had named Titan because terrifying murder beast did not seem right anymore, had its huge head resting in Junho's lap. You have caused quite a mess, buddy, Junho said. He kept scratching behind Titan's ears. The creature's purring made the floor vibrate. The whole galaxy is freaking out because you are not actually a monster. Jiwan walked into the bay. She was not wearing her combat armor anymore. She'd been spending a lot of time here over the past few hours. She kept switching between being amazed and being professionally worried. The medical team finished their scans, she said. You were right about the injuries. Titan has 3 cracked ribs, cuts on 2 of his leg joints, and old scars from neural whips. Those are weapons that cause a lot of pain. They probably used them when they first captured him. Junho's face got angry. They hurt him during the transport too? Yes, it is standard procedure for dangerous cargo according to the Huntmaster protocols. They keep the animals in pain to keep them manageable. She paused. The handlers he killed? They were coming at him with pain prods when he broke free. He was defending himself. Of course he was, Junho said quietly. He looked down at Titan, whose eyes were half open with happiness. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. I do not care how dangerous they are. The Huntmaster Guild disagrees, Commander Minho said as he entered. His skin had returned to its normal color, though he still kept some distance from Titan. They are filing an incident report. They say the creature is their legal property. They are demanding we give it back immediately. Titan's purring stopped. The creature lifted its head and turned its ears toward Minho. It was not aggressive. It seemed curious, maybe even hopeful. All 6 eyes looked at the alien commander. Hey Titan, it is okay. Junho started scratching again. Commander Minho is friendly. Right, Commander? Minho hesitated. Then he slowly reached out one hand. It had claws on it. Junho guided Minho's hand to a spot just behind Titan's second ear. There, press gently and move in circles. Minho's expression was priceless. He looked terrified and fascinated at the same time. Then Titan leaned into the touch. The purring started again. Minho's skin changed to a lighter color, which meant he was happy. By the old stars, he said. This is actually pleasant. Most creatures like positive physical contact, Junho said. We just forget that sometimes. When we label something as dangerous, we stop seeing it as a living being with feelings and needs. Station Master Hayabin's voice came through the speaker. All senior staff report to the command center immediately. We have a serious situation. 10 minutes later, the command center was full of people. Hayabin stood in front of the main screen. It showed an incoming call. That, she said in a worried voice, is from the Reckoned Throne World, specifically from High Huntmaster Korek himself. The High Huntmaster? Minho's skin went pale again. But he never deals with individual cases, unless this has become something bigger. Unless it has become a matter of pride for the guild, Hayabin finished. Which it has. Accept the call, Taman. The screen came to life. It showed a huge alien that was 3 meters tall. He had 4 arms and a face that looked like volcanic rock. This was High Huntmaster Korek. His reputation was well known. He was ruthless and never compromised. Station Master. Korek's voice sounded like thunder. I will be direct. The creature in your station is guild property. We captured it at great cost. It was going to the Imperial Menagerie. Your human has interfered with guild business. Return the creature immediately. Also send us the human for disciplinary action. Junho was standing at the back of the room. He felt everyone turn to look at him. Disciplinary action? For what exactly? Korek's 4 eyes stared at him. For interfering with guild operations, for stealing guild property, and for making us look foolish. Your little show has been viewed across the galaxy. Do you know what that does to the guild's reputation? If one human with no training can calm a Vorthak, what does that say about our methods? Maybe, Junho said quietly. It says your methods are wrong. The room went completely silent. Even Hayabin looked shocked. Nobody challenged the Huntmaster Guild, not openly, not if they wanted to keep doing business in space. Korek's skin darkened with anger. Wrong? Human. We have captured and contained dangerous species for 3,000 years. We have perfected the art of handling them. You mean the art of traumatizing them, Junho interrupted. The art of using pain and fear to control them. Yeah, I saw the scars on Titan. I know what you did. And you know what? It does not work. You create monsters by treating everything like monsters. The creature is called a Vorthak, Korek growled. Not Titan, it is a specimen. It is property. And it will be returned along with you. Our station Kepler 7 will be blacklisted from all guild trade routes. Before Hayabin could respond, a new voice cut in. This is Captain Nari of the Earth Defense Coalition ship Resilience. We are entering the station area now. We have been listening to this conversation. On another screen, a human woman in military uniform appeared. She looked pleasant, but her eyes were cold and hard. Hi Huntmaster Korek, my government has reviewed the footage of your guild's treatment of the creature. We find it disturbing. Hunyo is an Earth citizen. We do not give up our citizens for disciplinary action based on hurt feelings. Korek's skin got even darker. The coalition is new to galactic politics, Captain. You should not make enemies of the guild. And the guild, Captain Nari replied smoothly, is new to dealing with humans. Let me explain something about my species. We domesticated wolves. We turned wild cats into pets. We have taken some of the most dangerous predators on our world and made them family members. It is what we do. So when you threaten one of ours for showing compassion, well, that is when we become dangerous. The standoff lasted for a long moment. Finally, Korek said, "The creature is still guild property." "Then I will buy it," Junho said. Everyone turned to stare at him. "That is legal, right? I will purchase the creature from the guild. How much do you want?" Korek's expression changed from anger to calculation. 5 million credits. Done, Captain Nari said immediately. The Earth Coalition will cover the cost. Consider it an investment in good relations between species. And, she added with a sharp smile, we will be opening discussions with the Galactic Council about establishing humane treatment standards for sentient species used in entertainment. I am sure the other worlds will be very interested in reviewing guild practices once we share our evidence. The High Huntmaster's skin went through several color changes. Finally, it settled on neutral gray. The transaction will be processed. The creature is now human property. This matter is closed, the transmission ended. In the shocked silence that followed, G1 started laughing. You just made the Huntmaster Guild back down. They have controlled exotic wildlife trade for thousands of years. How do you feel? Hunyo shrugged. I feel like I need to get back to Titan. He is probably wondering where I went. Junho, Eben said carefully. Do you realize what you just started? The coalition challenging the guild's practices will have major consequences. Good, Junho replied. Someone needs to stand up for creatures that cannot speak for themselves. Might as well be us humans. 3 months after the Titan incident, Station Kepler 7 had become something completely different. It was now a rehabilitation center for traumatized predators from across the galaxy. This is madness, Commander Minho said, but he sounded more amused than complaining. He was currently scratching the ear of a Karathi screech lizard. This species had acidic bite that could dissolve metal, but right now it was making happy chirping sounds. Junho looked up from where he was teaching Daehyun, a newly arrived human scientist, how to properly handle a baby plasma stalker. Could be worse, Junho said. At least the screech lizard has not tried to eat anyone today. It is only morning, Minho replied in a dry voice. Give her time. What had started as one human calming one creature had grown into something unprecedented in galactic history. After Captain Nari challenged the Huntmaster Guild, other ships began coming to Kepler 7. They brought specimens that were deemed too aggressive, too dangerous or too traumatized for traditional methods, and the humans had proven, time and again, that there was no such thing as too aggressive. Only misunderstood. How many creatures do we have now? Daehyun asked. He gently stroked the plasma stalker's crystal-like skin. The creature's normally deadly energy discharge had been reduced to a soft, warm glow. 17, Ji-won answered as she entered with a computer tablet. And we have 3 more arriving soon. The guild is actually sending cases to us now. Secretly, of course. They cannot let anyone know they are admitting that humans might have better methods. Pride is expensive, Junho observed. But at least they are sending us the creatures instead of killing them. Station Master Hyabin appeared on the holographic display. Junho, we have a situation. And before you ask, yes, it is another one. But this time it is different. How different? Different as in a Galactic Council delegation is coming here to inspect our facility. They are considering making regulations based on our methods, but they want to see proof that it is not just human luck or some special human ability. Junho looked at Daehyun. So this is a test? More like a demonstration, Hyben corrected. They are bringing a creature with them, something they claim is impossible to handle safely. If we can work with it using non-violent methods, they will draft new handling standards. If we fail, the guild gets to say we were just lucky, and nothing changes. No pressure at all, Ji-won said grimly. The delegation arrived 6 hours later. Leading them was Counselor Varix, a diplomat whose voice sounded very formal through his translator. Behind him came representatives from many different species. They also brought what looked like a massive containment unit. Human Junho, Varix began without any small talk. The Council acknowledges your unusual success with dangerous species. However, many member worlds remain skeptical. They believe your methods work only with certain types of creatures, or that you possess some unknown human ability that cannot be taught to others. We do not have magic, Junho replied. Just patience, empathy, and a willingness to see creatures as individuals rather than threats. Then demonstrate that with this. Varix pointed to the containment unit. A shadow maw, native to the void stations of Kresh. It is blind, but it has psychic powers that let it sense fear in any carbon-based life form. Its bite injects a neurotoxin that causes paralysis and vivid hallucinations before death. It has killed 14 handlers across 3 species. Can you calm it? Through the viewing window, Junho could see it. A snake-like creature about 4 meters long. Its body was covered in plates that seemed to absorb light. Where eyes should have been, there were just smooth ridges of bone. Its mouth was lined with needle-like teeth dripping with poison. Has anyone tried feeding it without the handlers being terrified? Junho asked. Varix's antenna twitched with confusion. Explain what you mean. You said it senses fear. So every handler who approached it was probably scared. That made it defensive and aggressive. It is a feedback loop. Fear causes aggression, which causes more fear. Has anyone tried approaching it while calm? That would be irrational, one of the other counselors said. The creature is objectively dangerous. So was Titan, Junho replied. And now he is sleeping in the corner over there. Indeed, the massive creature was curled up in a special rest area, purring softly in his sleep. Several junior staff members were comfortable enough to sit near him during their breaks. I will need one thing, Junho said. A sedative. But not for the shadow maw. For me. Jiwan's head snapped toward him. Absolutely not. Hear me out. If the shadow maw senses fear, I need to be genuinely calm. Not pretending calm. Actually calm. A mild sedative will help with that. Just enough to reduce my natural stress response. You want to approach a psychic predator while drugged, Minho said flatly. This is somehow worse than the Titan incident. It is the only way, Junho insisted. The shadow maw is not evil. It is just responding to the emotions it receives. Change the input. Change the response. After a tense discussion, Station Master Hyben authorized a low-dose anti-anxiety drug. 20 minutes later, Junho stood before the containment unit, feeling pleasantly detached from his survival instincts. Remember, Daehyun said through the communication system, if it bites you, you have maybe 30 seconds before the poison takes full effect. We will have the antidote ready, but please be careful. It will not bite, Junho said with drug-enhanced confidence. Open the containment unit. The shadow maw came out slowly. Its body moved in waves across the floor. Its eyeless head turned, tracking not sight but something else. Emotion, sensation, the feeling of fear. Except Junho was not afraid. The creature paused. Its head tilted in what might have been confusion. It extended its sensory tendrils. These were thin threads that normally detected prey through their fear responses, but they found nothing to detect. Hey there, Junho said softly. I am not scared of you. I know you do not mean to hurt anyone. You are just trying to survive, right? He sat down on the floor with his legs crossed. He made himself non-threatening. He reached slowly into his pocket and pulled out a protein bar. Are you hungry? You must be. Those containment units never feed specimens enough. The shadow maw's sensory tendrils extended further. They brushed against Junho's emotional state. They found only calm, curiosity, and compassion. Its mouth opened, revealing those terrible teeth. Then, instead of attacking, it made a sound, a soft, questioning trill. Yeah, this is for you. Junho broke the protein bar and held out a piece. The shadow maw approached, its body coiled partially around Junho, not squeezing, just being present. Its head lowered to the offered food. The terrible teeth closed delicately around the protein bar. Good, Junho murmured. See? Nobody here wants to hurt you. He reached out slowly and touched the smooth plates where the creature's eyes should have been. The shadow maw went very still. Then from deep within its body came a sound. Not threatening. Something almost like contentment. Remarkable, Counselor Varix whispered. It is docile. Calm. In all our records, we have never seen a shadow maw behave like this. Because, Junho said, while still gently stroking the creature's armored plates, You have only seen it afraid. Everything is aggressive when it is afraid. The Shadow Maw's body relaxed further. Its coils loosened as it settled on the floor. Its sensory tendrils retracted. They were no longer searching for threats. It made that trilling sound again, softer now. I think, Junho said to the assembled delegation, we just made a new friend. 1 year after the Titan incident, the Galactic Council passed a new law. It was called the Sentient Species Welfare Act, but most people called it the Yunho Protocols. Station Kepler 7 had been officially renamed. It was now called the Interspecies Rehabilitation and Research Center. It had a permanent staff of 47 humans and over 100 non-human workers. All of them were trained in what was now called compassionate handling techniques. Junho stood in what used to be Cargo Bay 3. It was now a naturalistic habitat dome. Around him, creatures that had once been classified as galaxy-class threats lived together peacefully. Titan dozed in a sunny spot, occasionally opening one eye to check on the humans passing by. The Shadow Maw, now called Echo, coiled peacefully near the central water feature. Its sensory tendrils occasionally sampled the emotional contentment that filled the space. I still cannot believe this is real, said Yunji. She was one of the newer human handlers. She was currently teaching a group of Zentari students proper approach techniques, using a formerly vicious crystalline raptor. The creature chirped happily as she demonstrated the correct scratching motion behind its hearing plates. Reality tends to surprise us, Junho replied. He watched as Counselor Varix led a delegation of visiting diplomats through the facility. The diplomat had become an unexpected ally. He was now championing the new protocols throughout the council. The High Huntmaster is here, Jiwan announced as she entered. He specifically requested to speak with you. Junho raised an eyebrow. Correct, that is interesting. Send him to the observation deck. 10 minutes later, Junho found the massive alien standing before the transparent wall. He was watching the creatures below. His expression was hard to read. Hi, Huntmaster, Junho said neutrally. I did not expect to see you here. I came to admit something, Korek said. His voice lacked its usual thunder. You were right. Our methods were wrong. He gestured at the habitat below. I have spent 3,000 years believing that dominance through fear was the only way to handle dangerous species. Watching what you have accomplished here has forced me to question everything I know. Junho studied the huge alien. That must have been hard to say. Harder than any hunt I have ever undertaken. Korek's forearms crossed in what might have been a gesture of respect. The guild is adapting. We have begun using your protocols. It is slow and many resist. But the results speak for themselves. Handlers who once suffered injury rates of 60% now report less than 5%. Specimens survive longer and breed more successfully in captivity, and they seem happier, if that is even possible. It is definitely possible, Junho said. Every creature wants basically the same things. Food safety and some kind of positive social interaction. We just have to be willing to provide those things. Below them, Titan had woken up. He was playfully wrestling with one of the newer residents, a young void stalker that had been traumatized during capture. The two predators tumbled across the habitat floor in what looked like play behavior. Their movements were careful not to actually harm each other. I have hunted on 100 worlds, Korek said quietly. I have faced creatures that could tear apart starships, and yet a human with no combat training and no weapons accomplished what I never could. He used only patience and kindness. He looked at Junho. How did your species learn this? Junho smiled. We had good teachers. About 40,000 years ago, some wolves decided we were not threats. Maybe they were desperate. Maybe they were curious. Or maybe they just recognized something in us. Either way, they taught us that predators could be partners, that trust was more powerful than fear. And you applied that lesson to the galaxy, Korek observed. Someone had to. Junho pointed at the habitat. Look at them. Every creature here was deemed too dangerous, too aggressive, or too traumatized to rehabilitate. But they are not monsters. They are just scared and hurt. They lash out because that is all they knew. Once we show them there is another way, everything changes. They become companions, Korek finished. The guild formally requests human advisors for our operations. We will pay any price. Not any price, Junho corrected. But we will send advisors. On one condition, the guild stops using pain as a control method. Completely. No neural whips, no starvation, no trauma-based training. Ever. Korek's skin shifted through several colors before settling on acceptance. Agreed. You have my word as High Huntmaster. They stood in silence for a moment, watching the creatures below play and rest peacefully. There is something else, Korek said. Something the Council has not made public yet. Since implementing the new protocols, we have made a discovery. Several species we classified as non-sentient are not. Given proper treatment, they display clear signs of intelligence. Even language capability. Junho felt his heart skip a beat. You are saying we have been capturing sentient beings all along? Trauma suppresses higher functions, Korek explained. Keep a creature in constant fear and it cannot demonstrate intelligence. It can only survive, but once they feel safe, everything changes. He gestured at Echo, the Shadow Maw. That one has been communicating with our empathic specialists. Not sophisticated conversation, but definitely intentional communication. Concepts like friend, home, and safe. That changes everything, Junho breathed. It does. The Council is preparing legislation to reclassify 14 species as sentient. They will be granted full rights under galactic law. Korek looked at Junho. Because a human refused to see creatures as things. Because you saw them as people. Later that evening, Junho sat with Titan in their usual spot. The massive creature had his head in Junho's lap, purring contentedly as Junho scratched behind his ears. You hear that, buddy? You might be officially sentient soon. Not that it changes anything for us. I always knew you were smart. Titan's purr deepened. One massive paw lifted and gently patted Junho's leg. It was a gesture they had developed over months together. It meant thank you, or I appreciate you, or maybe just keep scratching. Jiwan approached with 2 cups of station coffee, made the news feeds. Human cargo handler changes galactic law. They are calling you the Terror-Hound Whisperer now. Junho accepted the coffee with a laugh. I prefer guy who gives good ear scratches. You know this is bigger than that, right? What you started here is changing how the galaxy thinks about non-humanoid life. About instinct versus intelligence. About what it means to be a person. Maybe, Junho said. He continued to scratch Titan's ears. But honestly, I just wanted to help a scared animal. Everything else is just what happens when you treat living things with kindness. Titan made a contented rumbling sound that might have been agreement. Across the galaxy, in hundreds of facilities on thousands of worlds, handlers were learning new techniques. Creatures that had been feared and brutalized were experiencing gentleness for the first time, and slowly, patiently, the relationship between sentient species and the dangerous predators of the galaxy was being rewritten. All because a human had looked at a snarling terror hound and thought, I bet that is a good boy who just needs some ear scratches. And he had been right. The end.